Hello anime lovers, welcome back to this channel in which we talk about what we love. In this video, we're going to talk about anime which are similar to ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. Anyway, life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout or fantasy Bishoujo Juniku Ojisan in Japanese is one of the anime which has a long title in winter 2022. This series is adapted from a Japanese manga series written by Yu Surasaki and illustrated by Shin Ikezawa. It will follow an old man and his friends who are summoned to a fantasy world. However, due to the goddess mischief, he has turned into a beautiful girl. At a glance, this anime is quite interesting with a fantasy nuance by combining gender-bender elements in the story. Thus, we will discuss about several anime which are similar to this series with various different point of view starting from the storyline to the setting. Here's a video of anime which are similar to ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout you can watch in your leisure time. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe this channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest video. So enjoy the video! Number 5. Arifureta. Firstly, we have an anime series titled Arifureta which aired in summer 2019 and later on gets the sequel in winter 2022. It is an adventure fantasy anime which is adapted from a Japanese light novel series written by Ryo Shirakome and illustrated by Takayaki. The series follows a figure who is summoned to a fantasy world. Unlike the others, the protagonist of the series seems to have a quite difficult problem in the beginning of the series. The story begins with Hajime Nagumo as he and his classmates are teleported to another world. Unlike his classmates who possess strong magics, Hajime gains the basic alchemical magic until he's betrayed by his own classmates and has to survive to live. Next, number 4. The saint's magic power is omnipotent. Now we have a romance fantasy anime which aired in spring 2021, where the series is adapted from a Japanese light novel series written by Yukata Chibana and illustrated by Yasuyuki Shuri. The story follows a salaryman who is suddenly summoned to a magic world. Sei Takanashi is summoned to the magic world Salutania. He begins joining Medicinal Flora Research Institute. He is not aware that his talent as a saint will continue to exert an influence on his new life. Number 3. Backstreet Girls Goku Dolls. Having a gender-bender anime concept, Backstreet Girls Goku Dolls is worthy to be in the list. Although it doesn't belong to fantasy anime, the concept presented in this series is quite interesting. Aired in 2018, the story follows several members of Yakuza when they have to face some problems leading them to undergo sex reassignment surgery and become idols. They have to become idols and keep their hearts as Yakuza. Number 2. So I'm a spider, so what? Now we have a fantasy adventure anime which is adapted from a Japanese light novel series written by Okinabappa and illustrated by Tsukasa Kiryu. The story begins with all students reincarnated into another world, with some lucky to be able to become a strong one. However, the protagonist of this series should be born as a spider monster. Armed with the human knowledge that she owns, she continues to advance and survive to become stronger. Number 1. The Fruit of Evolution. Lastly, we have a fantasy romance anime which aired in fall 2021. It is adapted from a Japanese fantasy light novel series written by Miku and illustrated by U35. Seiichi Hiragi was thrown into another world where he was left behind with an unwanted appearance. Yet, when all hope seems lost, Seiichi discovers a strange fruit known as the Fruit of Evolution, which may be his first step towards a significantly better future. So, those are the list. What do you think? Do you agree? Or you have your own opinion? If you do, write in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video to your friends. Thank you so much and see you again next time. Bye!